redemption, the action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. Depending on who you ask, is it possible? Are a person's egregious actions even redeemable? When you steal and murder in the pursuit of keeping what you consider to be your way of life, along with you preaching and believing that that is the definitive way of living. At the end, who is wrong and who is right? However, those actions by an objective standpoint are what people can consider sin, error, or evil. It's the turn of the 20th century, and the West as we know it is ending. It is becoming tamed and chained by law and lawmen. Nevertheless, that does not always stop outlaws from doing what they pleased. The Van der Linde gang, as Rockstar would put it, they are a gang of criminals, dissidents, and free thinkers who have chosen to reject a corrupt system of power and live instead by their own code. As the price on their head continues to grow, so does the struggle to remain free. This is true in a way, considering how corrupt and tasteless the American government could have been during this time, trying to bring their definition of order and their standard of their right way to live. However, they themselves would steal and murder in the pursuit of manifest destiny. In this situation, you are given two ultimatums. What is presumed to be the status quo, either way, will lead to destruction and chaos to the people in your path. Between the freedom of the lawless West or to assimilate into the society that Uncle Sam wants you to fall behind, within what we consider sins, errors, and evils that are committed for the need to seek redemption. Who was wrong and who was right? Arthur Morgan, a member of Dutch's Van der Linde gang, is caught up within the gang's sins, errors, and evils, murdering and stealing across 5 states ever since he was a young boy. He knew this lifestyle was wrong, however, this is all he had known, and this was the only way for him to move forward and live with the actions that he had believed that would define him as a senior gun, the respect of his gang. This lifestyle tore him away from relationships and anything that wasn't his face splastered upon a wanted poster. Arthur Morgan did at times yearn for a normal and peaceful life, a life in which he wasn't on the run and wasn't sure if the current shootout that he's in now would be his last. He lived a very, very volatile existence, all for the loyalty of his gang. They were murderers, vagrants, outlaws, outcasts, and thieves, but they were his family. However, as his journey progresses, he would find that his time in this lawless existence would soon come to a screeching halt. For once in Arthur's life, something was for certain. If a bullet or a noose didn't get him, then the slow crawl of tuberculosis that he had contracted will. Lying on his back, coughing his lungs to pieces. They say it's a blessing to know one's coming mortality, so they at least know that they can live without the fear of the unknown tomorrow. Now that Arthur is unbound from the mystery of tomorrow, he now has options given that his circumstances are absolute. He can continue to follow Dutch and the integral values of the downward spiraling Van der Linde way of life, because now their way of life is not only catching up to Arthur, but everyone in that band of outlaws. Or he can live selfishly for the livelihood of others, wanting those that deserve and can live redeemable lives, or just improving the lives of who Arthur and his gang helped destroy. Or a final choice, just helping those that are in need and have no one else left to turn to but a sick cowboy. Arthur did not need to seek absolution. He did not have the time nor the energy to chase it. He is more ghost than a person at this point. The cowboy just wanted to save as many people as he can. John and his family, for they can leave this life behind. For Dutch is carrying them into the spiral of carelessness, sloppiness, and pure destruction for a young family that didn't get a chance in the first place to live a normal life. Mrs. Downs and her son, whose lives Arthur directly helped ruin by beating her sick husband for loan money, only to find her later a widow with her son working practically for nothing as a miner, and Mrs. Down herself selling her body in desperation, contracting diseases in a polluted mining town. Poetically enough, they find each other near the deepest pits of their lives, as it is complete speculation that Arthur contracted tuberculosis from her husband the day he went to collect the debt money from the Downs family. To help them in their time of need, Arthur forces them to take the money because one, they needed it, for both of them are living harsh and undesirable lives that Arthur was the catalyst for. And two, Arthur did not need it anymore, nor did he seek forgiveness, or even want it, for he had no time for pity or charity. All he can do now is decide the man he wants to be for the time he has left. Arthur continues to liberate worthwhile gang members, along with his attempt to aid the Wapiti Indians, a tribe who has been lied to, butchered, and forced off their lands by the American government, along with him trying to prevent Dutch from sending young and, like him, impressionable Indian sons off a metaphorical cliff to their deaths, by unnecessarily creating more tension between the greedy US government seeking their manifest destiny and the angry but defeated Wapiti Indian tribe. In the end, Arthur is just one man. He couldn't stop this, along with the aid of another gang member trying to stop and help as many as he can. However, all these actions, plus many others, made him redeemable. Not that he was truly looking for it at this point, but he was just trying to impact the lives of others while he was still alive in a positive light for a change. With tuberculosis, he surely couldn't breathe clearly, but the fast approaching mortality, he could not just only think clearly, but for himself for once. Although Arthur couldn't see the successes of everyone he liberated from Dutch's descent into madness and instability, paradoxical as it sounds, what seemed to be a death sentence for Arthur Morgan liberated him as well. For the others that went along with Dutch past Arthur's death continued to live in their own personal hell, trying to achieve a perverse yet impossible fever dream. The Vanderlyn way of life, continuing to not think clearly and not for themselves. Arthur escaped that because of his impending mortality. Sometimes it takes a shock of that death to realize your wrongdoings and correct yourself into the person you want to be known for while you still can. Sometimes the best reward for redemption is death.